Hi everyone, I'm Xelo Forés and I'm going to present my paper, The Fight for the Civil Rights Through Art Connected to Literature, Art as Mirror and Weapon in American Society. Art can be considered as a political weapon for social change and also as a mirror of racial conflict in US society. Art is a key medium to show racial conflicts, rising consciousness among American society, and empowering the African American movement for equality. In the representation of historical facts and figures related to the recent American history and culture, African American artists are the first to reflect the reality and show scenes in the margins of the official history. The present work will study some representative African American artworks related to the fight for the civil rights, connecting them to iconic pieces of literature that reinforce their claim for freedom and equality. This paper focuses on the deep connections between art and the Black liberation movement as a means of expression to denounce the discrimination of the Black community and widespread their fight among American society to change it. Now I will give you some seconds to visualize the first painting. Charles Alston painted Walking in 1958. Alston depicts a long row of women in bright colors to give volume to the bodies, while he uses geometric forms of Cubist style and African inspiration. The elongated necks and the faces like masks reflect the African art influence on Alston's style. In his own style as representative of African American avant-garde, Alston takes a positive perspective within his artwork, so capturing the hope and the determination of women walking as the essence of a struggle within the daily lives of African Americans. Walking serves as a precursor to the 1960 civil rights movement. The painting was inspired by the Montgomery bus boycott, which represents the appearance of the insurgent strength among African Americans in their struggle for full equality. This unstoppable strength grew and developed into the modern civil rights movement with the help of thousands of anonymous people and famous people as Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. The starting point which has marked American history is the diaspora caused by the development of the slavery system as the main basis of its economy. Toni Morrison's dedication page enveloped to the memory of the 60 million and more who died under the institution of slavery is a reflection upon a large period of the history of the United States, and it is directly related to these paintings which reflect African American art and civil rights struggle. The second painting is by Jacob Lawrence and it's called Migration Series. This painting is panel 15. The impact of this panel is conveyed through what is absent, the lynching itself, showing just the result of it, the desolation of the remaining figure in the background. Thus, instead of showing the hanging corpse at the center of the painting, there is only a branch with a rope in its ending. So Lawrence focuses on the figure who mourns in the background, drawing attention to the aftermath of the lynching. This anonymous figure shows only his or her back, head bowed and crouch pose. The mournful figure is a symbol of the anguish produced by the murder of thousands of Black citizens, being one of the main causes for the migration to the north. This is one of the 60-panel migration series shared between MoMA and the Phillips Collection in Washington, D.C. Lawrence, a son of migrants, decided to depict the exodus of African Americans from the rural south to northern cities during and after World War One, just escaping from violence and discrimination. Lawrence chronicled the exodus of African Americans with a really narrative art, which was used to give voice to his people in a similar way as Toni Morrison's narrative. As in Morrison's books, Lawrence's paintings show the untold collective events and forgotten shared experiences which form part of African American history, and also contributing to widespread civil rights struggle among American society. The next painting is by Archibald Motley Jr. And it's called The First 100 Years. He among you who is without sin shall cast the first stone. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, which was painted from 1963 until 1972. Mulvey's The First 100 Years is maybe the best summary of African American history any artist has ever painted. So, showing the most relevant and tragic moments of the first 100 years of US history after the Civil War. He worked on his painting for almost a decade, chronicling historical and political events as well as his own personal experiences during the time of the Civil Rights Movement, including the assassinations of Dr. Martin Luther King and President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, whose heads allegorically appear hanging on a tree in this painting. Motley creates a gloomy blue atmosphere crowded with symbolical scenes and figures. An old Southern house dripping blood, with the Bill in the front door and a Confederate flag hanging on the porch, while Abraham Lincoln's head is on the roof. The KKK is bringing the robe and a burning cross. The body of a lynched black man is hanging in front of the Statue of Liberty. There is a broken stained glass window reminding the attack to black churches. There are scenes of police assault to demonstrators and many other images referring to segregationist messages. Um, this is Motley's most openly political painting on the history of race relations in America and marks a racial artistic break from his previous works. This painting reminds Stephen Hunt's book, A Nation Under Our Feet, Black Political Struggles in the Rural South from Slavery to the Great Migration, which deals with the evolution of African American people to be in power and be conscious of their rights. The next painting is by Jeff Donaldson, Wives of Shango, which was painted in 1969. Donaldson depicts in The Wives of Shango three black women standing defiantly, hands on hips, in an urban guerrilla style, an aesthetic close to the Black Panthers Party, as they are wearing African-influenced colorful miniskirts and great afro hairdos, holding shotguns on their shoulders with ammunition belts around their bodies. They are the image of the new empowered black women as representative of the Black Liberation Movement. Shango was once the fourth king of Yoruba people from Nigeria, who was immortalized after death and had three wives, Oya, Oshun, and Ova. He is also worshipped as the powerful god of thunder and lightning. Thus, Donaldson wishes to recover the African roots and to recognize the relevant role women have played along African American history. In fact, according to African tradition, Women are seen as cultural warriors and protectors of the families and the community. This African aesthetic, related to the empowerment of women, engages with Angela Davis' black feminism in words such as women, race, and class, and his political activism. But it also connects with Audre Lorde's famous speech, "The Master's Tools will never dismantle the Master's house," where she deals with race and gender connected to the equality in the feminist movement. And the last painting is a mural by Sylvia Abernathy, Jeff Donaldson, and Bill Walker, "The Wall of Respect," which was painted in 1967. In 1967, the Organization of Black American Culture painted a huge, colorful mural on the wall of a decaying building on the south side of Chicago. It was called the Wall of Respect, and it was directly connected to the Black liberation movement of the 1960s. It was one of the first Pride commemorative murals paying homage to Black heroes, and it was equally famous and controversial from the start until it was destroyed by fire. It only could survive a few years, but it inspired a community movement painting Black Pride murals around the country, and also Latino and Asian American artists in their neighborhoods. The wall was a powerful statement of racial pride and progress, so honoring African American heroes and martyrs in different areas of Black culture, such as politics, literature, music, sports, etc. Depicted highly relevant figures such as Malcolm X, Nina Simone, or James Brown, among many others, but with the central figure of Boxing World Championship, Muhammad Ali. The creation of a kind of black mythology was crucial to have historical references to respect and role models to imitate, building a strong African American identity, which helped Black people feel free and proud of their race and their own culture. This idea connects with Ta-Nehisi Coates in his work Between the World and Me, where he underlines the fact that it seems that there are no Black equivalents of white artists, and that is really a need for Black culture. Finally, the conclusion. In the history of the African American community and their fight for racial equality, art can be considered as a political weapon for social change and also as a mirror of racial conflicts in American society. Thus, art has greatly contributed to show those conflicts, raising consciousness among American citizenship while empowering the Afro-American movement for racial equality. Obama's speech, "A More Perfect Union," expressed the common aspiration of equal citizenship and freedom, but as he recognized racial inequality is far from ending, remembering the history of the United States is a long way of suffering among African American people. Nowadays, when political changes pose a fierce menace for supposedly granted rights, it is necessary to remember those who came before us and fought for a more equal world. A long march that should be continued, and where culture should be a tool for liberation, as Malcolm X thought. In words of Black poet Baraka, art must for change. It must be changed. So thanks for listening to me.